This is a historic and strategic communication between Firas Nasser, the founder of the co-creation movement, and the United States of America under the leadership of President Donald Trump. We hope by the end of this communication or series of communications to get the President's support to establish the co-creation movement as an intergovernmental organization to provide a refuge for young people from discrimination and give them opportunities to work on global causes and advance global agendas such as the Sustainable Development Goals. In this communication, I'll be speaking about global conflicts. And sometimes people wonder why the founder of the co-creation movement, which is a non-political and a non-ideological movement, will talk about global conflicts. The reality is that while talents come and join the co-creation movement, still there is a big burden of global conflicts on talent choices. Thus, we need to provide a refuge, a place of protection. If the system stops working for them in their home countries, they find a place that they can come and fight against discrimination. This is why we have decided to build the co-creation movement, and in this communication I will talk in details about global conflicts. So let us start. The first topic that I would like to talk about is the youth negotiation movement. The youth negotiation movement is a movement that emerged from the realities that young people in developed countries are struggling to own a home. They are experiencing discrimination, they want better opportunities, and sometimes they are being dragged to global conflicts without any choice from their side. So the big manifesto of the youth negotiation movement is, under the kingdom of God, many young people were left behind to face the next wave of automation, high levels of unemployment, the consequences of climate change, child-fit ideologies, global historic strategic conflicts, and more. Some joined the revolution, some decided to accept a global intervention, and some confirmed with the status quo and accepted a slow gradual change. The youth negotiation movement will negotiate with governments and established organizations to try to provide a refuge for young people all around the world. While this framework might seem theoretical, in reality, can be implemented today with the emergence of new countries that would like to be reconstructed, with the development of new tools, with the advancement of communication technologies. So, without doubt, the youth negotiation movement can be one of the great ideas that will provide support for young people all around the world. So, let us move on and talk about the current status of global conflicts. So before making this video, I have actually watched a video for Sergei Lavrov and Prime Minister Modi, along with hearing many videos for President Donald Trump and seeing many of the changes that is happening around the world. I'm confident that the current status of global conflicts reflect the realities of strategic competition between global powers. And this can be seen in Ukraine, in Gaza, in Libya, in many other places around the world. There is that strategic conflicts that people would like to advance their interests. And in the past, people would not solve those problems through direct military confrontation. So if we mention the number of hot zones around the world, we can talk about North Korea, and the nuclear program, Iran and their nuclear program, Taiwan, and the relationship with China, Ukraine, of course, Gaza and Palestine, among many other hot zones. So this is the realities of the current status of global conflicts, that these hot areas or hot zones reflect the strategic competition between global powers. And we don't promise that we will be ending global conflicts, but what we can say that we can provide a more humane alternative. We can transform those conflicts into political and democratic and economical conflicts through building new cities or having an upgrade of new cities, pushing the co-creation movement forward or even the youth negotiation movement forward, and try to make the competitions more about economics and about political choices and popularity and ideology. This led me to talk about the third section. In the third section, I will talk about the changes that is happening in the nature of global conflicts. Global conflicts happens when people feel there is a level of injustice that require an intervention. And if this intervention was well organized and well planned, people manage to change the status quo. The United States today is independent from energy point of view, from a technological point of view, from a food point of view, and of course from weapons point of view. So many countries would love to reach that level of independence, to be able to be independent in their energy resources, independent in their technological resources, independent in their food resources, and finally independent in their military purchases and military installments. So while many countries try to reach this level of independence, the politics starts to play. And many countries would try to form new groups or join new groups or becoming part of new organizations or find new partnerships and new reliable partnerships in order to advance their path to independence. Independence is not only about territorial independence, but it's about economical and military independence as well. So the current status of global conflict will be around how various countries and various organizations and various group of countries or group of political groups will be able to advance their path to independence. Along the way, there will be countries that would work against each other. For example, the containment of China and Russia by the United States, the new narrative that the East is pushing to the world, that could be the BRICS organization or the New Belt and Road Initiative. So there are a new narrative that the East is trying to push, that we can cooperate in a new way and we can push our economical interests that can provide a win-win situations for various parties around. This led me to the final part, which is, will we be able ever to achieve peace? So, I do think that it's really hard for us to achieve absolute peace, but what we can do is to manage global conflicts. We can do this through managing the number of conflict zones or increasing the number of conflict zones, or what I can call the middle grounds. In the middle grounds, there are cities that are a haven for the rich, like Zurich or Dubai, like Switzerland, and cities that where direct military confrontation can happen. Think Ukraine, Gaza, and Syria. I think in order for the global powers to manage the stability and security in the world in the coming decade or two, maybe they would increase the size of proxy zones or middle earth territories, could be that have conflicts or that can be acting as a hub for the world. So I do think maybe within the coming decade, if countries work on building BRICS cities and NATO cities and try to find a pool of talents that is building their own cities and trying to push a new cooperation arrangements. This can actually reduce the level of tensions in the world and can result in a greater peace and greater prosperity. So this was our communication for this week. We hope that we get the President support to establish the co-creation movement as an intergovernmental organization that acts as a pool of talent and help in building new cities and new ventures that can be that consist of multinationalities and multi-faith people that are working to advance global causes. See you next time.